welcome back to my channel. So the previous video I covered how I put in the front leaf springs, and also I attached the one side, the U-bolts. So that's all done on that side. I've got the whole hub assembly here ready to go for when I install the swivel assembly. The other side I'm still waiting on getting the longer U-bolts, because this is the 11 leaf side and the other side is a 9 leaf. It's quite interesting. I don't know much about leaf springs, but because on this side they cater for the additional weight of the driver and fuel tank and all that kind of stuff by adding extra leaves, whilst in the back it's got the same amount of leaves, but the leaf itself is thicker. There's a couple of leaves that are thicker. So this one goes with more leaves, that one goes with the thickness of the leaves. Anyway, I'm not sure how that works, but I pulled this out of the 109 as is, and it was sitting right and all that kind of stuff, so I figure I'll continue. If I need to change this one back to a 9, it's quite easy. I just remove a couple of leaf springs and change the U-bolts over to the shorter one if I need to. Anyway, having said that, all the assembly stuff is here. And one of the things that is really good about starting on the rebuild process is I'm starting to get my room back. I'm actually getting more and more of a workspace, which is really good. And that's including that I've still got the tyres in there, which I could effectively have outside. But never mind, I'm quite happy with the progress. So all good. Let me introduce you to my pup. Here she is, 4 months old, purebred labby, Darcy. She's absolutely beautiful, and she will be coming for drives and keeping me company. Yeah, it's going to be great. Sit. Good girl, good girl. Super intelligent and only 4 months old. Okay, so I've got the swivel assembly kit, got everything painted in, so I can start working on probably doing this side first. Oh, so I've got the bottom just bolted in. See, I haven't bent over the tabs yet. I'll do that right at the end. And I greased it when I put that in there, so that's looking pretty good. It was a tight fit. What I'll do now is the bearing, and we should be able to then put the housing in. Just bottom pin in with the bearing, and I've got the top pin in with the shims that came with it, although I did take one out already. So I'll need to now tighten them up according to the manual, and use a fish scale to basically measure how much pull there is, which I think it's up to between 5.8 and 6.3 kilos. Anyway, I have to double check. So it's progressing well. It says 5.4 to 6.3 kilograms. So next thing I've got to do now is, I was just fiddling around changing the shim, so I removed the thinnest shim here and replaced it with the next one up, and it feels okay. So the next thing to do is to actually use a scale to measure it. So after about 6 attempts I finally got the right preload. So that was using just a fish scale, hooking it up on the end, pressing it, and I'm getting it about 5.8 to 6 kilos load, so that's all good. I torqued up all 8 of these nuts and bolts to 50 foot-pound. Now the next thing to do is to add a seal. Now I'm going to put I've got a kind of like a bit of a seal sealant that I can put on the edges, and then I'll also put a bit of grease on the actual lip itself, then pop it over the top, and put the retainer on top, and we're pretty much done, apart from obviously bending over the tabs. We're pretty much done with this side. So this assembly is done. I haven't yet bent over the tabs yet, because what I want to do is once it's assembled, I'm going to actually retest it with the scale to make sure that nothing's amiss. But actually it's probably been a very straightforward process really. So what I need to do here is I've got the seal, which goes in there into this section here. Then after that I've got the gasket that comes over on top of that, which mates with here, and then I'll put the assembly on, and once I've got that all bolted in, then I'll put the half shaft, which I'll have to give it a bit of a tidy up, and then work my way out, you know, with the backing plate, stub axle, and then hubs. So we're slowly making progress.